As of noted, of course, Deputy Mayor is standing in for Mr. McConnell. Very much. Minutes. Do you have any changes?
No changes, they're perfect.
No changes to our minutes and department notes, reports. Okay. Let's go down to our discussion item, which is the resolution 3173, which is this thing we've been trying to figure out how to do best. Go ahead, thank you.
So this is a presentation of the source control inspection program. So I'll just go through my checklist here. So for Agenda Bill 23-115, authorizing award of professional services agreement with parametrics for the source control inspection program. The source control program is part of the Western Washington Phase 2 Municipal Stormwater Permit course. The intent is to prevent pollutants from discharging to surface waters and the stormwater system. Phase 1 of the source control program we've completed, and it was the development of the source control inventory and the adoption of the source control ordinance. This professional services agreement will focus on the source control inspection phase. And the city is required, just to recap, 20% of our inventory annually. So for this year, that's 34 inspections. We have 170 businesses in the inventory, and this professional services agreement will set up the program, the tracking system, the communications, and the physical inspection required for the permit this year. The required expenditure for this agreement is $49,808.81, which is about a $26,000 reduction from the original professional services agreement. We took the comments into consideration from the last CDC. We took out a lot of tasks associated with the GIS efforts and the documentation efforts. We moved that from parametrics, and we're going to take that on internally. We cut our inspections in half, and we also, but we added training for our GIS analyst to be able to perform those tasks. So, but the net reduction was about $26,000. And for budget, which is also different, we have a $130,000 municipal stormwater capacity grant that just become eligible maybe a month ago for us. And so if we use the grant, that'll leave us with a budget balance of $8,191.19. And a quick note about the grant is that it can only be used for NPDES permit requirements. And of course, the source control program is an eligible requirement.
So just to be clear, Drew, last time this was presented, it was going to take city funds in order to pay for this contract, for this work to get done. But now what you're saying is with this new grant, we'll be able to utilize the grant funds to actually pay for the contract, meaning that city budgeted funds wouldn't have to be used to cover this effort.
Correct. The grant can cover everything, cover the entire agreement.
So that's, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, what's the likelihood of getting that grant? I mean,
It's already been approved.
oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Great.
Typically, we receive $50,000 grants, but for this grant, it's 130. So we just every once in a while, we'll get a surprise from ecology, and this is one of those times.
That's great.
What's the leftover? What's going to happen with that?
We will.
Are you required to use it or not?
We utilized every penny of these grants. I can assure you that we don't have it completely mapped out in terms of what we're going to utilize it for, but it always goes toward like the most pressing priority that we have to implement these NPDES permit requirements, and this is probably priority number one.
And just another thing to point to is the training tasks that Drew mentioned are included in his scope are provided so that staff can get trained up to administer this program on their own, and we won't need, hopefully, recurring consultant assistants to run the program.
That'd be great.
So it seems compared to where we were here when we were here last time that we kind of have a win-win here in that we're able to get the training we need so staff can take over. At the same time, we're able to leverage this new grant to pay for it so that city funds aren't having to. So I think that's a big win, and we're hoping that with those two changes and the fact that Drew did some great work and was able to reduce that cost anyways. He was already going down that path before we found out about the grant, that we'll be able to move forward and get this program running.
Good job.
That's awesome, yeah.
Pretty impressed. I agree.
Really missed out on the first part of, it was big, it was really, it was
Yeah.
staff and everything. Weird requirement for us right now because we're inching into it. We weren't in it before because the city was small and we didn't. But now we're kind of like, oh great, now we're capturing another thing we have to do. It's nice to work that out. A lot more costly when we. I love it that staff's going to have a little bit of training in there, to get knowledge. I don't mind if staff ultimately is used. If they're doing some other work and they're like, oh, hey, we got to have somebody do this type of work, but at least they have the knowledge to do the task. They can say, hey, do Bob, go out there. This is what you got to do, and get this done. And then you can hire out consultants to do that kind of. But like next year or whatever, they'll deal with the same amount.
Yeah, 34 per year, and I think it's like 4 years for us to get it done. But I mean, after this initial 17, we'll have the program up and running. We'll have 17 inspections for training, and then the rest of the 153 will be all on us. So.
Excellent. Makes sense to me now.
Great.
You have to do it, it makes sense.
Oh, we have.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah.
That's what we did before. I know
That's how we do it.
We have to do it.
Not one of those like ultra
Right.
State law regulation. So that's good. Should we move this forward to the consent agenda?
Everything we were discussing it. Workshop.
So next available consent agenda whenever staff wants it on, whatever.
Down to the 26th.
It's already on. Boom.
Good job. We don't presumptuous. It's in mind reader there.
And I don't know if we have any open discussion items. We can do yours now, and you next do them later.
I won't finish later, but I can do one here now too. The work on Angela on the sidewalk looks very impressive. Is it going well?
Yeah, well,
That's
yes,
quite done.
we're on to just some miscellaneous punch list items, and we're about ready to, we've issued, substantial completion, and so, once we get through the punch list, we'll close it out.
Well,
They did a really good
I've
job.
been down there several times. Somebody's not signs, so I have to go down there all the time.
You're like,
So I've seen the progress, but they've done a good controlled area. Looks nice and clean. And good.
Yeah, it was like one of those kind of projects that I don't think I got one complaint. Everybody was so happy about getting a sidewalk.
Right,
It was,
yeah.
That's
You know,
one of the good things, right?
usually there's something,
They usually like
traffic control. They held me up for so long or something like that, but it
And
was just really
sealing the
smooth.
roads is a great job too. I thought that's usually a problem. When I've seen it, and they're really good job doing some of the roads, putting the fog down.
Yeah.
Makes a huge difference. We never used to it before. And before your time,
Correct.
before your time, your predecessor said no.
3 different
Yeah,
versions.
that is correct.
That's
Yeah, Dan did not like
And it
doing just the
should-
fog
yeah,
seal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that should be done. I'm gonna say you a lot of complaints, but I thought they did a great job. And
Oh, yeah.
lowest extension, even though it's gonna keep falling and breaking and moving, it looks really good too. So.
Good.
All good words all the way around. So thank you.
Excellent.
That's all I got. Can we have our council meeting now and be done with it? Go
Pretty
home.
much, yeah. So, seeing no other business, adjourn.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks for your-